Well, welcome into this week's edition of the Weather Hangout, 11th edition, and we're in full swing of winter, at least meteorological winter so far, but definitely
doesn't really feel like it. Yeah, we've
exactly.
got some mild weather this week, and good to have you with us streaming on YouTube or WTOL 11 Plus. Only two of us here this week. We're still going to bring you some good content. Pertinent to December and winter, and things you can do to prepare and plan for the holidays, and also for some cooler and snowier weather. It'll be here eventually.
Yeah, exactly, John. And I'm starting to notice we don't necessarily see the at least coldest weather in the month of December. That kind of gets a little colder, or a lot colder by January and February.
Wait till January and February. We'll have a real Midwest winter before you know it.
Yeah, exactly. So and we'll eventually get to that, of course, with those averages, of course, coming down lower and lower as we go closer to December into January. So not much snow so far, at least. I mean, I'm not complaining about it yet, but it's been kind of sparse as far as those snowfall.
Yeah, Matt, some folks would like to keep it that way all winter long. We've had a lot of rain systems, some dreary and cloudy weather, but more so temps in the 40s, not cold enough to snow. So we'll see if it stays that way, but overall through December, especially with these La Nina winters, and you may have seen our WTOL 11 winter weather outlook, our official forecast. We predicted this, a slower start to the winter with milder conditions in December, and then rolling over into January and February, then we start to get a little more active with the winter weather.
Yeah, exactly. And we'll be breaking down everything you need to know as far as safety is while you're dealing with this winter or going through your winter as well. But also still got those active volcanoes out in Hawaii, but also got another one in Indonesia we'll be talking about.
Still keeping our eye on the weather across the country and across the world, as it is a little more exciting than the weather here at home sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. So it's been kind of a dry spell, at least for us here. But yeah, we'll be breaking down everything from how you can save energy in your home during the winter months, and also a cool story by none other than meteorologist John Birchfield coming up.
Yeah, talking about how we can take some safety precautions for those who have to shovel snow in the winter. There's a lot of health risks that many folks don't think about, especially cardiovascular risk, and then also those who like to exercise and stay busy in the winter. Tips that you can employ to stay safe and make sure that you're looking out for traffic and looking out for your health, most importantly.
Wow, yeah.
So want to start things off with a weather question?
Yep.
Fun fact.
So let's do that. Wow, 80% unexplored. That is an insane amount, and wow, this is something that just to kind of keep an eye on, of course, with all the oceans. But taking it a little closer to home, I'm going to show you how you can save through that energy through the winter months, how temperatures and energy kind of coincide with each other as it goes throughout the winter months. So kind of showing you how much energy you use throughout the entire year. Most of that is from dishwasher, TV, oven, lights, even dryer and fridge, but that's only a fraction of amount of energy used throughout the year, whether it's heating or cooling. But a good amount of that also is your water heater, which kind of keeps you warm during those bath times as well. But majority of that energy, where that comes from, actually comes from heating and cooling, and then the rest of it will actually be everything else within your home. So as you go throughout the winter months and even spring, fall months, you can tell when those temperatures are at least colder, well, that's where your energy consumption will be actually the highest at time due to the at least the warmth that you need within your home. But as you go throughout the temperatures kind of being more milder, whether it's 50 to 60 to even 70 degrees, your energy consumption will actually be less. But as you go into 80 degrees, even 90, possibly 100, well, that energy consumption will pretty much be a lot more to you having to cool your home and at least stay cool during the summer months, whether that's in Northwest Ohio or anywhere in the United States. But we're going to take it back to heating at least. And here's some fire safeties that you may need as you go throughout at least the next couple of months, as you go throughout at least the next couple of months for you. So anywhere from inside to outside, and as the suggested temperatures for us, 90 degrees or above, will be around 68 degrees inside your home. But as you look at 70 degrees to 90 degrees, just around 75 degrees in your home should be a good temperature for you to save money each and every month during the winter months. But as we drop down, as it gets colder, it's around 50 degrees to 70 degrees is when you'll see at least the most efficient cost around 77 degrees or any 40 degrees or below. As it gets colder, well, you're gonna of course wanna bring that heater up a little bit more and kind of warm yourself up. But just around 79 degrees, it could be a little costly at times, but 79 degrees could be the perfect temperature for you to stay at least cost efficient as we go into the next winter months for us. So like I said, it'll be mostly staying cost efficient for most of that time. And even as we go into the next couple of months, we'll start to keep an eye on that white Christmas as well for you. But before we go to our next segment, we'll start to see some of those winter months, and we'll see even more winter safety tips as we head in our next segment. Before that, enjoy this weather fact.
Wow, Matt, 20 inches of snow. Would you want that much snow in 2 days?
No, absolutely not.
No,
I don't.
thank you.
I don't think I can imagine.
No, we got a little bit close to that last February. We got about 14 inches of snow out of that system, but 20 inches, that's a far cry from almost 2 feet of accumulation.
Yeah, I can only imagine. I noticed like last time, I always thought down south when it snows, it usually melts by the end of the day, but here it takes weeks.
Yeah, it sticks around, and as you saw, Matt, it gets piled up on the side of roads, starts to turn a little bit brown, and you know how it goes. And that makes you really eager for spring, just counting down those days till it all melts away and everything greens up.
Exactly.
But that weather fun fact got me thinking winter weather. And of course, we already aired the WTOL 11 winter weather special, and we want to share some information when that snow does come. It's obviously not here yet because we've had a little bit of a rainy and damp weather pattern, but preparing for the winter and the cold and the snow and everything that comes along with it. So in my special, in what I focused on is more so the health impacts. So shoveling snow, Matt, something that many folks don't know is that there's some cardiovascular risks associated with that, especially in elderly individuals, more so the 70 to 80 crowd. But even if you're 50 and you have coronary heart disease or pre-existing conditions, it can be deadly. And unfortunately, even with that Buffalo snowfall, remember that, where they got just crazy amounts of snow?
Insane amount of snow,
yeah. But there were a few folks in Buffalo who unfortunately had heart attacks and died because of the shoveling snow. So something we want to keep folks alert and aware of this winter. And also on the other side of the spectrum, people who like to stay active in the winter, maybe walking the dog, going for a run, cross-country skiing. Our metro parks have a lot of fun ways to stay busy in the winter, but some safety tips you can take, ranging from wearing reflective clothing to warming up to all sorts of things. So I want to share some of those safety tips, whether you're shoveling, exercising, or anything in between, to keep you safe this winter.
Yep, let's take a look.
Ready or not, cold and snowy weather is right around the corner. For some, that means long hours shoveling snow. For others, snowy weather opens the door for fun winter activities. Whether you're shoveling or exercising this winter, the WTOL 11 weather team is here to keep you safe and healthy. I spoke with ProMedica cardiologist Dr. Daniel Casavar on the health risks of shoveling and precautions you can take.
As a cardiologist, every year we try to avoid but see a lot of patients who have been exposed to cold weather and have had a heart attack. A lot of them were shoveling snow or doing outdoor activities that they may or may not have been okayed to do at the time.
Whether you're shoveling snow or exercising, warming up is an important way to prepare the heart and muscles for activity.
In our sports medicine clinic,
ProMedica sports medicine doctor Erica Martin explains.
doing a quick warm-up inside just to kind of get your heart going and get your breathing a little bit elevated too might be a good idea.
Warming up is just one of several ways to prime the body for strenuous exercise.
We'd ask people to warm up and then get warm clothing in layers if they can, and then start slower, smaller shovels, smaller loads, take your time and take breaks in between.
Taking breaks and taking it slowly is especially important for those who are older and have pre-existing medical conditions.
If you're over 45 or 50, especially if you have known heart disease, you probably shouldn't be doing it. If you absolutely have to do it, you need to get warm, stay warm, cover your face so that you're not breathing ice cold air, and go slow at it and take breaks in between.
Other safety precautions are as simple as wearing reflective clothing.
So anything that you can make yourself as visible as possible to those around you, and then, avoiding whenever possible running or exercising in the road in those situations, because again, cars aren't always necessarily going to see you.
Clothing can keep you not only visible but also warm, which is equally important for shoveling and recreation.
Socks that are made with wool in particular. So I tell people cotton's rotten, especially when you're exercising outside, because cotton, it just gets wet and then you get cold, and then you can get, chafing and blisters and that sort of thing.
Whether you're shoveling, sledding, running, or walking in the cold and snow, you should look out for a few warning signs of overexertion.
You'll start to see pain and then numbness of hands or digits. They will start to get more of a confused look and glazed look, less responsive, more fatigue, a lot more short of breath. Those are warning signs that there's a problem going on.
But even with the inherent risks of shoveling and exercising, staying active during the winter months is important for your mind and body.
Exercise is super important for us from a mental health perspective, and with the light being reduced in the wintertime, I think it's really important. So again, just finding something that you enjoy doing and doing that on a regular basis.
Whatever you enjoy doing to stay busy and active during the winter, the WTOL 11 weather team will keep you updated and informed on the latest forecast, no matter what Mother Nature has in store. Reporting in Toledo, John Birchfield, WTOL 11.
Well, this is some stunning images, of course, of the Mauna Loa volcano that we've been seeing recently. And it's still an active volcano right now, one of the largest active volcanoes on Earth right now. So this is some stunning images we're seeing right now out in Hawaii, John.
Yeah, it's sure fascinating to see that, and really juxtaposing that versus our weather fun fact, negative 67 degrees. This world really has some incredible extremes of the weather, and they can be dangerous, they can be deadly, but looking at that video, Mother Nature sure is powerful and amazing to see that.
Exactly, and we got one more that actually erupted this past week. This is out in Indonesia, where plumes of ash is skyrocketed in the air, and is by a nearby town as well. Now they don't necessarily have at least the lava flowing into the towns yet, but has definitely seen another eruption out in Indonesia. So some volcanoes pretty active around the world, at least for now.
Yeah, amazing to see that. Thanks for the updates there, Matt.
Yeah, exactly. You're welcome. So right back here. Of course, it's the holiday season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We're talking Christmas movies today, it looks like.
Yes, we are. So I got to ask, John, what is your favorite? It may not even be on this list, but if it is.
These ones are all good.
Yeah, there's some good ones. So what is your favorite Christmas movie?
So it's really tough to pick one, but of these ones on the list and the ones not on the list, I've got to go with It's a Wonderful Life, which I believe is right there.
Yeah, we can take this full if you...
And the reason for that, Matt, is because of the sentimental value. So growing up here in Northwest Ohio, every Christmas Eve, We only watched it on Christmas Eve one time per year. Couldn't cheat and watch it in early December or November. It's got to be on Christmas Eve. And that kind of cued that, hey, it's time for Christmas. And really just sitting down on the couch with the family and, you know, eating some cookies and popcorn and watching It's a Wonderful Life. Plus, it's just such a heartwarming message and reminds you to take every situation and realize how much of a gift life is. It's a little bit more of a serious tone than stuff like Elf and Home Alone. Those are great comedy Christmas movies, though. Can't go wrong with Will Ferrell and Home Alone as well. What about you?
This is a tough one. I gotta say Home Alone is always a classic.
Yeah.
It's always a funny one to me. With Elf, I actually didn't see Elf until last year for the first time.
Yeah, that's always a funny one.
Yeah, definitely Home Alone is my favorite one. Just like the brilliantness of him just kind of tricking him all the way. I mean, Home Alone 2 is a pretty good one as well.
It is. Christmas Story's good. That's another funny one.
Yeah.
From the 90s. What's on the
Got Charlie Brown Christmas.
The Grinch. There's a couple different Grinches to choose from, and Charlie Brown Christmas is sweet.
Always a classic.
Hopefully your Christmas tree's a little bit bigger and more filled out than his little. It's cute though. It's like the Christmas weed, the Toledo Christmas weed.
Exactly.
But yeah, lots of good Christmas movies to watch. And even though it feels a little bit more like autumn outside, we got the damp, rainy weather. Those movies will still put you in the holiday spirit.
Exactly. And speaking of holiday spirit, could we see a possibly white Christmas? So according to it, we have about a 30% chance of...
That's looking at climatology. In other words, what do we normally see? So that's hard to believe. Only 1 in 3 Christmases does feature snowfall. Of course, 2 years ago, we did have snow on Christmas. It kind of goes 50-50.
50-50, exactly.
Or a little less than 50-50, actually, as the evidence tells us. Because last year, we didn't really get snow on Christmas. It was milder on Christmas. I remember going for a walk in the afternoon because it was so mild out. It was 50s
Really?
out. We'll see what this year has in store.
Yeah, exactly. This is always a kind of cool fact to see if it is going to be a white Christmas or not. But hopefully we at least get one this year.
Yeah, it's less common than what many folks think. A lot of people think, oh, every year we get a white Christmas, but it's less than half. So we'll see what this year has in store. But based on the trends we're seeing towards mid-December, it's not looking likely. If anything, we're more likely to have a wet Christmas with rainfall than actual snowfall. So
exactly.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
Hoping for a Christmas miracle if you want snow.
Exactly. Well, that wraps up our
it was a good weather hangout, even with the two of us holding it down here. Of course, stay tuned to WTOL 11. We've got the latest on YouTube. I've got a Climate Friday newsletter coming up, and On Air is always the place to find us. So hopefully next week we'll have at least 3 of us for the latest weather hangout.
Well, we'll see you next week.